Hi, welcome to the next video. Before I begin, I wanted to take a moment to tell you about something that is slightly off topic, but not really. It is a relevant point that I'm trying to make. Recently I saw this movie called The Flight, and I'd never heard of it, and it stars the great Denzel Washington, and he's great in the movie, and you should see the movie. And I don't mean to spoil it for you, but he plays this alcoholic pilot, a lifelong alcoholic pilot. He's an airplane pilot, and the movie begins with him getting on a plane to fly, and he's drunk. He's been drinking for at least 3 days, and he's high on cocaine at the time as well. And despite one of the things I liked about the movie was the plane experiences mechanical difficulties that are in no way his fault. And he miraculously, shows how great of a pilot he is, even drunk. Flies the plane literally upside down. A miraculous maneuver. Saves everyone's life, pretty much. There's a few casualties. But he's a national hero, and pretty much no one knew on the flight, or in the press, or in the lawyers or anything, knew that he was drunk. And he thinks he's going to get away with it. But slowly his web of lies start to unravel, as they always do, and he grows more and more under suspicion. And the movie culminates pretty much with him sitting in front of this panel of experts, and there's hundreds of people behind him who all think he's still a hero, and he's pretty much gotten away with it. And then he just breaks down, and he's drunk at the time even. And he just starts crying, and he says, "Yes, I'm an alcoholic. Yes, I was drunk when I flew that plane. I've been an alcoholic my whole life." And later on, someone asked him, "Why did you, break down right at that moment?" And he says, I just ran out of lies." And that really struck me, because I knew exactly what he meant, I mean, human beings we all lie at some point in our life. But alcoholics are really good at it. I'm not even saying lying, but really good at leading a double life, being secretive. And I really didn't, when I was an alcoholic, I really didn't lie about drinking. I just never brought it up, and I was really good about hiding it. That was the first thing that struck me. The second thing was, he ends up in prison, and it's a happy ending. It's a really happy ending. He's in prison for at least a couple of years. And there's one of the last scenes is him sitting in this support group, and he said something that really struck me. He said, "This may sound strange coming from a man in prison, but for the first time in my life I'm free." And boy, that really just hit me like a freight train, because I knew exactly what he meant. I mean, everyone's got problems, but addicts are unique, I think, because their worst enemy is themselves. A friend of mine recently asked me a question. He was sort of joking, but not really. He asked me, "Do I have a nemesis?" And I thought for a moment, and I said, "Yeah, myself, because I've always been my worst enemy." And that's what nutrition means to me. That's what it means to me. It means freedom. It means freedom from being a slave to myself and my demons. And it's a terribly hopeless feeling to not be able to trust yourself, to be able to, sit alone in your apartment, praying, on the weekends, praying, to make it so that it's late enough you can't go to the liquor store anymore, so it's closed. And then that sense of relief of, oh yeah, okay, now I can't go to the liquor store anymore. That if you can't trust yourself, that's, what do you got? You're in a terribly hopeless situation. And that's why I started this channel, to give people an opportunity to have access to the things that have helped me a lot. And speaking of which, one of the things that's helped me a whole lot was the supplement called DLPA. And back in 2009, I was still an alcoholic, and I was still, I really didn't care about changing, for a long time, mostly because I was drunk. I just didn't care. But when I started to care, I started to learn things. And I remember one time back then, I woke up on the couch bloody, just so dehydrated. I was bloody. Blood in my nostrils, caked in my nostrils, just bloody, cracked lips. I was sitting on the couch, and I thought earwax was coming out of my ears, and I went and got a Q-tip, and it was blood. And you'd think I would have quit then, you know, but, you know, human beings aren't as predictable as, you know, you would think. And it was one of the wake-up calls that I really needed, though. And right around that time, my brother was in nursing school, and he started educating me on certain aspects of physiology and biology that I didn't know about. And one of them was endorphins and how they play a huge role in the body. And back then, basically what I knew about endorphins was that's the thing you get when you go running and you feel good for about an hour. You know, I had no idea the huge role they play in the body in terms of addiction, in terms of depression, in terms of pain management. It's insane. And DLPA is really interesting. It's dl-phenylalanine. And phenylalanine is an amino acid. And it's similar to tyrosine, which I did a video on, in the fact that phenylalanine converts into tyrosine, and tyrosine converts into L-DOPA, which makes you feel good, and then that goes into epinephrine and norepinephrine. The difference between DLPA and tyrosine is that phenylalanine, or DLPA, has two forms of phenylalanine. The L part, L-phenylalanine, is natural, and that's found in protein. And the D is the synthetic, man-made, laboratory kind. And it's different in that it blocks an enzyme in the endorphin system. Now, the reason that's important is because that raises your level of endorphins. See, to understand addiction, you need to understand there's a system in the body called the opioid system. And that endorphins are basically morphine-like substances. And we need them in our body. They're great for pain management and just mood. And that's the thing that gives you pleasure. And they're actually more potent than heroin and morphine. And those substances lock onto them. And you know, whether you're taking cocaine or alcohol, it boosts your endorphins. And see, here's the thing. When you unnaturally boost them, when you're off of that alcohol, what does that do? That creates a deficit. It's like a roller coaster. And I mentioned a term a while ago in another video called homeostasis. And what that is your body's natural reaction for normalcy, for state of normalcy. And it's always trying to get back there. It's encoded into your DNA of what's normal. The levels of, you know, neurotransmitters. Everything in your body is encoded. Your blood sugar levels. It knows what normal is and is trying to get back there. And when you unnaturally boost it, when you get off of it, it's going to create a deficit. And the higher, the more of a push it is, the greater it is. Like Einstein or Thomas Newton said, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And that's true. I mean, if you go up X amount, you're going to go down X amount. And the longer you do it, the harder the crash. And that's why alcoholism and addiction in general is so insidious, is because it creates this cycle of addiction. And the longer you do it, you're like the first time you get drunk, it creates this sense of euphoria, or even any other drug. It creates this sense of euphoria, and you will never ever experience that level of euphoria from that substance ever again. You won't. The first time I got drunk, I've been chasing it ever since. Ever since. And that's the insidious nature of it. And addiction and nutrition is a complicated topic and multifaceted. I mean, we still don't know so much about the brain. The brain is literally still a mystery. It's the last frontier. The more I learn about the brain, the more I realize what I don't know. And it's a fascinating topic. But DLPA was one of those things that was like, really made a huge difference in attacking my addiction, and it helped my mood so much. And I believe it went a long way in terms of healing me. and in raising my endorphin levels. And whether you are an addict, it's great. And it's great for treating your depression, and it's great for pain management because it raises endorphins by blocking this enzyme in your endorphin system. It's great for attention deficit disorder. Just all around great supplement, and I highly recommend that you check it out, at least research it. Now, with the thing about all the supplements I'm mentioning, like I said, every alcoholic, every person in life is unique. Every situation is unique. And I mention these supplements because, and I tell you about how they've helped me, and I believe they can help you as well. But if you do not get the exact same results that I get, don't give up hope. Everyone is different, and everyone requires unique, detailed, a plan. So I hope you've learned something, and please remember to like and subscribe if you would like to see more of this. Thank you very much, and I hope you look forward to the next video.